Good afternoon, everyone. Let me begin by saying this progress is never inevitable. It is forged through dialogue, through trust, and through the courage to sit across the table and talk. Not just about where we've been, but about where we're going. The meeting between the President and Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif served as a powerful reminder of the enduring importance of the relationship between the United States and Pakistan. At its core, this connection is not merely strategic or transactional. It is rooted in a shared commitment to progress, stability, and the well-being of both nations' citizens. In the conversation, there was a strong reaffirmation that the partnership between the two countries must evolve with the changing global landscape, but remain grounded in mutual respect and understanding. The leaders acknowledged past challenges, but chose to focus on the opportunities that lie ahead when nations decide to work together rather than apart. The tone of the meeting was not one of superficial diplomacy. It was honest, respectful, and forward-looking. Both sides recognized that while they may not agree on every issue, the strength of their relationship lies in the ability to have open, candid dialogue. This willingness to engage constructively sets the foundation for future cooperation across a range of issues, from security and economic development to education and cultural exchange. The reaffirmation of this partnership is particularly significant given the complexities of the region and the shifting dynamics of international relations. The President emphasized that the U.S.-Pakistan relationship is not limited to short-term interests or single-issue concerns. Instead, it reflects a broader vision, one where two diverse nations can come together to address common challenges and pursue shared aspirations. This kind of partnership requires constant nurturing, and both leaders demonstrated their commitment to doing just that. In reaffirming their alliance, they sent a clear message to their citizens and the international community. Despite differences, when trust and dialogue lead the way, meaningful progress is possible. One of the most significant aspects of the meeting was the deep and serious conversation around counterterrorism and security cooperation. Both leaders acknowledged the grave threat that terrorism poses not only to their own citizens, but to the world at large. The President recognized the tremendous sacrifices that Pakistan has made in the fight against extremism. Countless lives lost, communities devastated, and a nation constantly challenged by those who seek to disrupt peace and progress. In this context, the United States reaffirmed its commitment to standing shoulder to shoulder with Pakistan in combating violent extremism and enhancing mutual security efforts. The discussion reflected a shared understanding that no country can face these threats alone. It takes cooperation, trust, and consistent action to dismantle networks of terror and prevent new ones from forming. Both sides emphasized the need to strengthen intelligence sharing, improve border security, and invest in efforts that prevent radicalization before it takes root. The leaders were clear. The fight against terrorism is not just about military strength. It's about protecting values, preserving human life, and defending the hope of a better future for the next generation. They also spoke about the importance of balancing security needs with civil liberties, ensuring that counterterrorism strategies respect the rights of individuals and promote justice. The President praised Pakistan's continued efforts in confronting internal and regional threats and expressed a desire to deepen collaboration through shared training programs, joint missions, and strategic support. This renewed commitment to security cooperation marked a defining theme of the meeting. It sent a clear message that both nations understand the gravity of the challenge and are willing to work together not just in words, but in action. Through unity, coordination, and mutual respect, they aim to build a safer, more stable world for all. The meeting placed strong emphasis on the importance of regional stability and peacebuilding in South Asia, recognizing that true progress cannot occur in isolation. The leaders discussed the complex and often tense dynamics within the region, including ongoing challenges in Afghanistan and the broader implications of strained relationships between neighboring countries. There was a clear understanding that peace in South Asia is not only crucial for the countries directly involved, but also for global security and economic development. The President and Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif agreed that constructive engagement is essential to addressing regional conflicts. They acknowledged that historical grievances and unresolved issues must be approached with a spirit of diplomacy, patience, and vision. The goal is not to erase the past, but to learn from it and forge a new path forward, one defined by cooperation instead of confrontation. In that spirit, the President encouraged efforts aimed at dialogue between regional powers and reiterated the importance of respecting sovereignty, territorial integrity, and peaceful dispute resolution. The two leaders also touched upon the role of international partnerships in promoting peace within the region. The President emphasized that the United States remains committed to supporting efforts that strengthen regional dialogue and promote inclusive development. Whether through economic incentives, educational exchanges, or support for grassroots peace initiatives, the aim is to encourage trust, building, and long-term collaboration. Their conversation reflected a shared belief that regional peace is achievable, but it requires leadership that prioritizes unity over division and diplomacy over provocation. The meeting reinforced that when nations take bold steps toward reconciliation and open dialogue, they pave the way for a more secure and prosperous future, not just for their own people, but for the entire region. The commitment to peace is not a distant hope. It is a strategic choice grounded in responsibility and vision. Economic growth and development formed a key part of the conversation between the two leaders, reflecting a shared belief that lasting prosperity depends on opportunity, innovation, and investment in people. The President highlighted the importance of working together to build stronger, more resilient economies that can compete in a global marketplace while addressing the everyday needs of ordinary citizens. In that spirit, both sides agreed that economic cooperation must go beyond high-level trade agreements and reach the lives of young entrepreneurs, small business owners, and underserved communities. One major focus of the discussion was energy development. The leaders talked about the urgent need to support Pakistan in addressing its energy challenges, improving infrastructure, investing in renewable sources, and expanding access to electricity in rural areas. Reliable energy is the backbone of any economy, and by working together on energy projects, both nations can help spur job creation, reduce poverty, and encourage industrial growth in a sustainable way. They also discussed how economic development can empower the next generation. Education, skills training, and access to technology were identified as crucial tools to unlock human potential. When a student in Islamabad or a young coder in Peshawar has access to digital resources, mentorship, and the chance to innovate, it contributes not just to Pakistan's progress but to global advancement. The President expressed strong support for programs that promote youth leadership, women's economic participation, and inclusive growth across all sectors. This part of the dialogue reflected a forward-thinking vision, one that sees economic development not as charity, but as partnership. Both leaders recognized that shared prosperity strengthens the bonds between nations and lays the foundation for a more stable and interconnected world. The conversation made it clear, when people have a fair shot at success, they create change that lifts everyone. The meeting also highlighted a mutual commitment to upholding democratic values and protecting human rights. Both leaders agreed that the strength of any nation is not only measured by its economic output or military capability, but by how it treats its people, especially the most vulnerable. The President emphasized that a functioning democracy depends on more than just holding elections. It requires institutions that are transparent, accountable, and rooted in justice. The conversation reflected a shared understanding that democracy must be constantly nurtured through free expression, an independent judiciary, and a press that can speak truth without fear. There was recognition that democratic progress is often uneven and challenging. Yet, it remains the most effective way to ensure that power is used responsibly, and that citizens have a voice in shaping their future. The leaders spoke about the importance of building trust between governments and their people, a trust that is earned when leaders listen, when rights are protected, and when the rule of law is upheld equally for all. Human rights were central to the discussion, particularly the rights of women, minorities, and marginalized groups. The president expressed admiration for the resilience of Pakistan's civil society and encouraged continued steps toward protecting individual freedoms and expanding civic participation. These are not just ideals, they are the foundations of lasting stability and peace. When people feel seen, heard, and respected, they contribute more fully to their communities and strengthen the social fabric of the nation. This commitment to democratic principles was not presented as a lecture, but as a shared goal. The conversation underscored that democracy is not the responsibility of one nation alone. It is a universal aspiration, and when nations work together to protect the dignity and rights of all people, they move closer to realizing the promise of freedom and justice for future generations. The closing theme of the meeting revolved around the broader vision of global cooperation and unity, a message that resonated throughout the dialogue between the two leaders. At a time when the world faces challenges that transcend borders, whether it's climate change, terrorism, economic inequality, or pandemics, the need for collaboration has never been greater. The president emphasized that no nation can afford to act alone. Progress requires a willingness to listen, to understand different perspectives, and to build bridges rather than walls. In the conversation, both leaders recognized that shared challenges demand shared solutions. They spoke of the value in building coalitions, fostering mutual respect, and maintaining open lines of communication, even when disagreements arise. This is not about ignoring differences. It's about choosing dialogue over division and embracing the idea that cooperation does not weaken a nation's sovereignty, but rather strengthens its influence and resilience in an interconnected world. The president acknowledged that trust between nations is built over time, through consistent actions and principled leadership. It's reflected not just in formal agreements, but in the tone of conversations, the transparency of commitments, and the willingness to show empathy and solidarity during moments of crisis. Both leaders agreed that their meeting was a meaningful step in that direction, a chance to reset, to reflect, and to recommit to working together in pursuit of common goals. There was also a strong belief expressed that the next generation is watching. The choices made today will shape the kind of world they inherit tomorrow. And if leaders have the courage to lead with hope rather than fear, with unity instead of isolation, then they create a legacy far greater than themselves. The meeting ended not with finality, but with renewed purpose, the understanding that through cooperation, even the greatest challenges can be overcome.